Hello, dear viewers, or shall I say readers. My name is Juan Montoya, editor and publisher of El Run Run. It's an online newspaper or a blog. In our ongoing effort to inform our readers of the local political scene, we bring you today's interview with Mauro Garza. He's a candidate for this November for Cameron County Judge. Welcome, Mr. Garza.
Thank you, Mr. Montoya. Thank you, and hello to your followers.
My faithful followers.
Your faithful followers.
Hopefully. Well, we're glad you're here. Thank you for letting us into your home.
And
let's begin. Mr. Garza, tell our viewers a little bit about your background. ¿Quién es su gente? Where are you from?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a South Texan, a father, and a business owner whose life was shaped for responsibility very young. My dad passed away when I was 17, and so I learned real quick that leadership requires you to show up.
You're thrust into manhood.
Yes, that's right away. And that responsibility, you had to show up whatever the circumstances were. Now, I went to school in Corpus Christi. I got my bachelor's degree at Texas A&M in Corpus Christi with a chemistry minor. And later, I got my Master of Science degree at the University of Texas in San Antonio with an emphasis on neurophysiology. Now, I began working in Corpus Christi.
Hold on. Neurophysiology.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, that's a good question. Neurophysiology, what I was studying was the effect of compounds on our brain, like whether all kinds of different types of drugs, even alcohol and those kinds of things, on how they affect our behavior, our chemistry.
So big emphasis on science and chemistry.
It is a big emphasis on science. It requires data and research, and it was an interest of mine, and it still is. I mean, we see that those things are affecting our people, and it's important to understand that some of these addictions are also not only physiological, but they're psychological too.
And this prepared you for eventual employment with?
Yes, after leaving Corpus Christi, working for the city, I started working for the University of Texas in San Antonio and the Health Science Center, which is the medical school. From there, I went to work at the Texas Commission on Alcohol and Drug Abuse. And then after that, I became the director of the Contracts and Grants Department at what is now the world-renowned Texas Biomedical Research Institute. But today, Juan, I am a successful entrepreneur. I own several companies, now 20 years in the making. Mm-hmm. So I guess to summarize my career, I've had public health programming experience, substance abuse prevention experience, teaching experience. I taught at a college. Contracts and grants experience, experience in regulation compliance, and then building businesses from the ground up.
So you got the nuts and bolts from the bottom to the top.
Yes, I've just been at it for a while, and comes with that learning that part about leadership and responsibility at a young age.
I see here where you've been employed in San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Austin, other places. What are your ties to Cameron County, and why did you choose to make it your home?
Although my own roots go back to Willacy, Jim Hogg,
right up there,
Zapata, and Bexar counties. My historical ties go back here about mid-19th century with my great-great-grandfather.
Ooh.
Yes, that was at the time where I believe also Cameron County became Cameron County. It was decreed by the legislature about the mid-19th century, I believe.
48.
And shortly right there, if not around the same time, the town of Brownsville was also...
exactly, yeah, you're right.
Right, so the borderlands, I think, we all come home, and I feel at home here. and there's a need to move in a new direction.
So your roots are all over South Texas,
They are. Yes.
from the metropolis to the ranch,
Yes.
everything.
Yes, sir.
That's great. Your work history, which is quite impressive, by the way, shows that public health is one of your main strengths. Given our high rates of obesity, diabetes, what personal skills do you bring to address those needs that set you apart from any other candidate?
Okay. First of all, Cameron County Public Health, we have to understand that it's interconnected. For example, we have chronic diseases. We have mental health and addiction. We've got access to underserved, low-income
Population.
families, infection disease preparedness. And one thing a lot of people forget, the health consequences that are related to floods and perhaps other emergencies that we may come
And we're
across.
seeing that right now.
Yes, sir. Now, Cameron County should not attempt to replace hospitals, physicians, or clinics. No. But we should coordinate them. It's a very important thing that we need to do by using reliable data, strengthening our prevention programs, support emergency preparedness, be sure we can reach all populations, all communities, and also compete. We got to compete for outside funding to be able to even do that. So currently, Cameron County provides clinical services, but they're aimed at lowering the barriers for these underrepresented communities and low-income residents, and it operates emergency preparedness also, and a disease surveillance program. Now, I would say that my experience in public health, quite frankly, would be beneficial should we come across another pandemic. Now, through my roles that I mentioned, my positions and my jobs, they have a common thread, and that common thread is to be able to solve complicated problems, because the problems are complicated. Work with different populations is very important, and those two things are just quite important.
So it's a very scientific, targeted approach.
It is, but also what you see is a combination of that and administrative work, because to do this, we need to manage our resources responsibly. We need to do that. And a key focus for me would be to turn plans into measurable results. So there's your science right there.
Yeah.
I want to see that this is kind of working. You know,
pretty specific. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would guess. Well, no, I know. I want a public health strategy with measurable goals for prevention, behavioral health, maternal and child health. I don't want programs that are only measured by how much money they spend.
Which is sometimes that blinds you to the true consequences of the situation.
It does, and it can, and that's why, looking at budgets, to ensure sustainability is what the county's doing right now is a very important thing that they're doing. Those things are pretty important, but we have to think about the future and how we are going to be able to provide and serve the county in the best way that we can.
In the last few years, Cameron County is experiencing an upsurge in our economy. SpaceX, Saronic. What's your read on this? And what is your program to sustain the growth and adapt it to our particular needs?
Well, living and working in fast-growing cities like San Antonio and Austin,
Before, yes.
That's given me a firsthand experience of what has to happen. I mean, they are fast-growing. So I'm able to see what it takes to plan, invest, and prepare for the future. We have to to see all the possible ways to do that. The way it's done, you can forecast. Okay, you forecast with data. We got data we can forecast. And when we forecast, a lot of people don't do this, but we have to keep in mind short-term goals, short to medium range, medium to long-term, and then long-term goals. We have to, the whole thing, we have to not just plan for tomorrow, hand to mouth, you know. I think we can do a little more work there, you know. But I learned what it takes to plan, invest, and prepare for the future. Using best practices, you know, like I mentioned, data, and where's the future headed? That's what we need to look at. It taught me the importance of infrastructure, responsible leadership. We can improve, one thing I do want to mention is we can improve infrastructure at the same time we can lessen the burden on the taxpayer. We can do that.
Because it's going to take a huge investment.
Absolutely. And it's important, one, that economic development also reaches the underserved communities, not just those that are right now experiencing the investment.
Sure. What is the saying? The chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Well, yes.
So let's strengthen the links.
Well, we can, and it's possible. I've led teams before, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to the future.
That's great. South Texas has long been considered a Democratic Party stronghold. But as they say, all politics are local. For example, Cameron County has voted a Republican county judge 5 times. Carlos Cascos 3 times, and Tony Garza Jr. twice. What does that tell you about the voters here?
Well, it tells me that Cameron County voters are independent, practical, and they're willing to look beyond party lines. When, try not to use my hands too much, when they believe that someone is qualified to lead. That one is something that commands respect. And it is so important. I'm a Republican. I know I must earn the trust of Democrats, independents, and Republicans alike.
As these 2 people did.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the county judge is an administrative, executive, management, emergency response position. So voters, I encourage them to examine our experiences, look at our judgment, our ethics, our plans, and the ability to work with others is very important. My appeal is very simple. It's very simple, Juan. It is simply compare the candidates and choose the one that you feel will better serve Cameron County. There have been great Democrats that have served as county judge and some Republicans. I want to continue to serve. And infrastructure is not fixed by a political party. You can remain a proud Democrat, but still hire the individual that will best serve you.
Mr. Garza, we thank you for your time and for giving us a chance to introduce you to hopefully our faithful viewers. And we ask our readers to carefully judge the candidates in these upcoming elections. Your vote is secret. No one can tell you how to vote. Vote for the best candidate. I believe Mr. Garza believes he is. But whatever you do, please vote.